Hello, welcome to another video. Um, this video is a boy learns to swim. Well, you may think, why is this man making all these silly videos? Well, the last video was about Canada. When I was 12, I looked like this. Here you see me on this TV tower in Toronto, standing there. Well, I must say sometimes I wonder why I make all these sentimental films about my past, and you may also wonder how I can talk about such a time that is 40 years ago. So now we have 2020 and I'm talking about 1980, so I go back in the time 40 years ago. Well, I can remember good. My memory is still intact, and but I can tell you this is not the same feeling I had when I was 12. I was much more free, so my soul was more free. There were no dark clouds and sorrows. That was maybe the best time in my life. This 4 weeks in Canada, there was so much fun and so many friends and all these adventures, and there were no pain and no sorrows. There were no dark clouds, so I own this country, Canada, a lot, and why this is also the reason I make all these films in English, because I remember this time in North America when I was 12, so that was one of the most best times in my life. Well, okay, and well, I can go back in time, it's no problem for me, and I can uh, somehow feel like I was 12, but it is not the same. When I was 12, I was much more free and more excited than today. Well, today I wear a heavy burden after escaping from death. You know that I'm tortured since 2016 now. 4 years I had to fight, but it becomes better and better, and well, it is somehow so simple to protect if you know how this technique works, and well, I hope that many other people will find it, because they going after those who wants freedom and believes in God, and they targeting also many Christians in the US or in Canada, and well, it's worldwide. These devices, they are worldwide, and well, I hope that many people find my films. And well, I'm through. This sequel is done. Well, sometimes I find something and I make a video about this. But so why not? There's time for other videos talking about the past, the world I lived in when I was a boy. Well, here you see me in the age of 4 or 5. I can't say exactly. It was the time I was in kindergarten, and it was for the elementary school. Yeah, and here you see me with a coat. So that was in winter, and I remember that time Hamburg in the winter was a very beautiful town. There was a lot of snow. Well, I was grown up in this little ice age, in the 70s. We had a lot of cold winters and snow, and where you saw all this ice on the trees when on Sunday after church, in the afternoon we went out for a walk, sometimes in a forest, sometimes downtown. In Hamburg, in the middle, in downtown, there is a lake, it was caused by a mill, and I show you a little bit this map here. You see here in downtown, this is this brown circle here, and then if you go up, there's a little lake, and in the winter it was sometimes frozen and you can walk on it, and also skating was possible sometimes when there was snow on the lake, so that was not possible. Well, I lived somewhere outside downtown, a few kilometers. There was a railway going direction Westerland, so that is an island in the North Sea, Sylt, called Sylt. So there was a railway to the North Sea, and I was living a little bit outside in a quarter that was called Eimsbüttel. So Büttel means bag. So there was a village that was looking like a bag. There was a church and all these farmhouses were around. So that was a typical form of a village in the north of Germany. A church in the middle and then the houses around, and it looked like a bag, you know. There was a road going in, then it looked like a bag. So this is the name of Büttel, bag. So bag village, maybe like this. But this village was not. When I was grown up there, it was not there anymore. So they built a new quarter in the time of between 1900 and 1910. This is when the time when all the big cities in Germany were growing, like everywhere in Europe, like also in Paris, and you know, here this is Hamburg, where I grew up. So you have on one side you have the Baltic Sea, and on the other side you have the North Sea, and this is Berlin here. Berlin was always bigger than Hamburg because that was the capital of Prussia first. Well, I mean, the capital of Prussia was Potsdam. But this is beside. Well, no, Potsdam was the summer seat of the Prussian kings, and Berlin was also the capital of Prussia. But Berlin was very young. There were towns older, like Magdeburg. This is here. But Magdeburg was destroyed in the 30-year-old war, in this conflict between the Protestant movement and the Vatican. There were war everywhere here, especially in the north of Germany. And that was from 1618 to 1648. These towns they grew. Hamburg and Berlin, they grew, especially in the industrialization. So from 1870 to 1910, and it all ends in the First World War, caused by this man here. This is Wilhelm II, the Caesar who brought the Second Reich, so that it was called the Second Reich. Germany, Second Reich of Germany, so that was from 1871 to 1918, and 1918 was the end of the First World War. But this man built a lot of things during his government, so especially the harbor of Hamburg. This is the south. You see this here, the blue parts here down on the river Elbe, so this was a harbor, and well, he came to Hamburg. There was a new harbor for spices and tea and coffee, so there was a trading with Africa. Well, Germany had also colonies, but not so much like France and England. Germany came too late, so the world was already um, divided between France and England, and also Spain, Portugal. So we had 3 colonies in Africa, and well, then the ships came in and brought all these things, the goods from Africa, sometimes also from India. So there was a big harbor. The harbor made Hamburg a very rich town. So there were many salesmen, you know, big warehouses and all this. So this was the biggest harbor in Germany, but then it changed to Bremerhaven, I think. I think Bremerhaven is now it's bigger. So well, I say well, I thought I make a film about swimming, but okay, but just show you this. Bremen, that after the Second World War, Bremen was U.S. Government, because this harbor is very important for the. Well, this is Bremen, and outside Bremen there's a harbor, and the water is deeper, so the container ships can go easier to this place. And well, the biggest container terminal we have in continental Europe is Rotterdam. This is in the Netherlands, so that is more here, somewhere here. Okay, well, so this Caesar built also this, in the time of Wilhelm II, my bath was built. I learned swimming, so that was built in 1905. The same year also this house was built. I grew up, also my father grew up, and I went there in the time I was still in kindergarten, so in the afternoon there were swim courses for little children, and well, I knew already how to swim when I went to this school. So well, and yeah, I mean, there were swim courses, and so I was a little boy, maybe 5, 6 years old, and and maybe 2 times in a week there were timetables. For example, it's Monday, Wednesday the seahorses, or Tuesday and Thursday the dolphins. So we had special names, and I can't remember how. This is from the other side, the building from the other side. You see, it's a very old building. It was built before the First World War, and there were many buses in Hamburg like this, and it was paid by tax. So it was financed by tax. It was a public bus. Everybody can go in. But in the time of William II, there were special days. You know, the women had a special day so that they can swim, and the men other days. So there was strict separated the sexes in this time. You know, they had to. Yeah, there were stricter rules, so that the men couldn't watch the women swimming, that they maybe harass them or whatever. So that was a rule, that women and men had to be divided, so they had special days, special times like this. Well, but and also the women, they looked totally covered. You know, the only free what you could the lower part of the leg. That was the only thing you could see. The women had incredible swimsuits that no man can see too much, you know. But in my days, my swim group was mixed, boys and girls, 4, 5 years old, and it was inside this in the hall. And this is the pool I learned swimming. But now it looks totally different. In my days, that was maybe 73 or 74. You know, I went to school 75, and I think in the last year of kindergarten, so maybe 74, I went there, and there were no coffee. This is all because of this private changing. So this public bars was sold to a private investor or some, I don't know who, but it is now private now, and so bring in this chairs, this coffee, and well, it looks more like a I don't know. It is disgusting because we need that our children learn how to swim and not sitting around. Maybe I don't know the reason. Maybe that some pedophiles look the kids how they swim. I can't see the reason for this stupid coffee here. In my times there were no chairs, no tables like this, and this side was free. I remember we were standing in a line, swim course starts, and then putting on this bags, you know. We had this belts, and there was an airbag on the back, and we standing in a line, and like maybe like this. I was standing like this. Well, I was smaller, you know. This is 12. So when I was 5, maybe, I think I don't know. I think more like this. Here I'm 5, so I was standing beside the swimming pool here. That was here on this side. We were standing in a line, having this belts, and this belts they were. It looks like a turtle, so we were standing there like turtles, ninja turtles. Well, it looked like a military operation, you know. And then the swimming teacher, she was female. Well, okay, let's go in, and then we went here. That was the flat part. You can stand here as a child, and that. So we trained first here, just to lose the fear. And well, learning swimming is quite good. You learn to control your instincts. So the first time you go with your mouth underwater, so you breathe, and then you spit out all this water. So you learn when it's time to stop breathing, and then breathe again, going up with the head, breathe, then going down, and so control your breath, and training these movements. And in Germany we learn breaststroke first. Well, my cousins told me in Canada, well, we learn freestyle, you know, and well, I thought, no, we learn breaststroke first, and freestyle we learn later, because in the beginning you have to learn to keep yourself on the surface, and this breast you can maybe move like a butterfly to be on the surface, and so in the beginning it is more important to stay on the surface. Freestyle is more if you want to have more speed. Freestyle is the fastest way how you can move. But we learn first breaststroke, and then afterwards all this other, like dolphin, and laying on the back, and making, you know, the freestyle on the back, you know. But the first style we learn is breaststroke. also I learned. I remember this swimming teacher. She had a telescope. It looked like a T, and sometimes a boy or a girl couldn't, uh, you know, come along, and then okay, hold on, and then catching this T, and she pull she walked on the side and pull the boy, the girl. Well, I never took it. I was too proud. I want to make it by my own, and well, yeah. So there were two halves. The one half, or maybe 30%, was always reserved for the swimming groups. There all the week. Well, I was born '68. I was a baby boomer, and there were a lot of children, so it was always, the one half was always blocked, or maybe 30% was always blocked. There was a line, and the other half was for the normal swimmers, And but today, there, I don't know if they have swimming. Well, it is disgusting because, well, it is so important that children learn swimming so that they can become self-confident, that they learn how to handle this, to keep themselves over water, to trainee. That it is quite important step you do in your life, learning swimming. And there were a lot of swimming courses, all days, every day. Well, I went there maybe 2 times a week, or I don't know, 3 times. So in the morning I had a kindergarten, and then kindergarten was over at maybe 1. Then I went home, also alone. First time not, but then alone. It was not far. It was the church, the Protestant church I was in. My family was in. They had a kindergarten, and I this way was not so far from my house, and well, and there was also discipline. So we had eat like a banana or maybe a glass of milk, and first sit down and be silent, maybe 5 minutes, then making a prayer, and then eat. To control your instincts. Well, I couldn't control in the beginning. In the first, well, there's a banana, just take a little piece and then eat. And then the kindergarten teacher, she was also female. Well, you eat too early. You have to go out. So I have to go out, wait a little bit, then come in. So to learn the rules, to control your instincts. Well, this is our culture here, that we don't go over this eating like an animal, so that you learn to control your needs, or so that you first pray and don't. So that was quite important. I think. Well, I think it is good. It is. It helps you later in your life to go through difficult situations, that you learn discipline. Well, the swim course was quite good, and I learned how to swim, and well, it was sometimes not so easy for me. So I had a difficult birth. I had suffocation during my birth, and when I went under the water, first I had really a panic. It was really panic feeling, but after a while I coped. I come along with this, and then I learned how to breathe. And when I could swim, I was also a great diver. So well, in the later in elementary school, in the morning I went to school, and the first 4 years in Germany it's elementary school, and my classroom was here, so that was second floor, I think. Well, and So and well, after school, in the summer we went to this place here outside. So my first summers I spent here after school, well, with a friend, and we also my mother was first with us because we were maybe 6 or 7. So the first summer my mother went with us, and well, we learned table tennis. There was a table tennis, and also, well, yeah, it was nice, and there was another swimming pool for people who couldn't swim, but I knew how to swim, and so I swam also here. Well, and then then the summer so my mother bought me a card for the whole summer, so I just had to show and go in. And well, I was there almost every day after school, and I love to dive. You know, diving. Sometimes I found a coin on the on the bottom of this swimming pool, and well, there were also nasty boys where they only want to dive to look up, waiting maybe some women cross, so what can I see? So, but when the lifeguard saw this, he came immediately and said, well, you go out, or you go out of, or you stop this, or I drop you out of this bath. So the lifeguard, we call in Germany Bademeister, so that means the master of the bath. You know, I think this sounds better than lifeguard, but okay, in your language it's lifeguard, and he was the boss of this whole area, and you have to follow his orders, or he drops you out, you know. Well, I was diving to, it was fun for me to go under. I had a special glass, so that glass that I saw everything, and I was diving maybe for a long time, for an hour maybe. And well, there were also um, proofs, examinations for how long you can swim. So when I was maybe, I don't know, maybe I was already in elementary school, and the first degree was to swim 15 minutes without catching the, you know, you had to swim in a circle, you know, that was here inside, so I had to swim in a circle without holding myself on this border here. The second degree was 30 minutes, so the first was a seahorse, then the second maybe was a dolphin, and then the last was 1 hour, and hold your breath. It was called Skull and Bones, so I made it and I was proud, and my mother sticked. There was really skull and bones, like a pirate, and I had it on my swimming trouser, you know, and I was walking like this here, so I walked here beside this swimming pool, and now I'm a killer, you know. Well, I'm just kidding. I never was a poser. Well, there were maybe some other boys, they were posers, but these were the boys who didn't make this, you know. So I was just glad that I made it 1 hour swimming without interruption, and well, and but it was somehow strange that they made Skull and Bones. Well, I think this is a way how they mock us, you know. Why don't take another animal, maybe a shark or maybe a whale, you know, or a beluga, something like that. Why they choose the Skull and Bones, you know, and so that means you are death proofs or something like that. But that was strange when I think back. I was so proud that I had this skull and bones on my trouser, but I think it is a kind of way how they mock us, that they bring, that the mothers sticking this symbol on for their boys or also girls. Well, I must say that the girls had more power. When you are young, so the girls, they could also do this. They had in this age they had more power than we boys had, and they were also swimming a lot and made also this skull and bones. And well, then one day I was 10. Well, I looked maybe like this. I can't. I didn't know. Maybe I was 9 here, or I was 10. Well, I went already to this free bus in summer alone. I went on my bike, and then after school I went here. And when it was 10, when I was 10, I decided, well, it's time for 10 meters. There was a jumping tower. The 5 I made already 2 summers. Well, it was such a fun. The boys were standing there and jumping, and then you see there are two well, it was for us boys, it was like a runway, like airplanes, and then we jumped, we were running, and there were other boys standing on the looking, and then, well, it's free, go, and then we were counting 1, 2, 3, and then running as fast as we could, and then two boys were running and jumped first feet, and then later I also head first. I don't know the name. You go with your head first. I did also this. I had no fear. It was such a fun. All these boys here on the 5-meter platform, and there were also fat boys, and then they were warning us. Now I made an ass bomb, and then the fat boys, they jumped in and shaking with their ass. Well, it looked like Second World War when these bombs came out of the plane and shaking a little bit. So they moved their ass, and then they hit the water with the ass first, and it looked really like a bomb. So and all the boys looked down and, yeah, ass bomb, And then sometimes a double ass bomb. So 2 fat boys were running here, and then 2 bombs, and all the boys, now the pool is empty. They pushed out all the water, little boys, and head full of shit, always overdriving and making silly things, saying silly things, and but they called it ass bomb, and the fat boys, their mothers, the good Hamburg women making everyday eggs for their boys so that they become strong. But well, they had more fat asses, I guess, and there were also a lot of shops. The boys could buy sweet things, so they eat also a lot of sugar. But I must say, in my days, we were more thin. We had not so much problems with overweight. Now, if you look England, the boys, they have so many problems with overweights because they eat such a lot of shit. And when I was thin, when I was a boy, I was so thin that, but there were some fat boys, and they jumped always. They were proud to make this big ass grenades or ass bombs, they called it. Well, it was fun, and one day I decided, well, now I'm 10, I will take the 10, and well, that was quite amazing, because I was the youngest boy who did this, Normally the boys were 14 or 15 and I was 10. I remember because I was 10 and I said, well, now it's time for 10. So I'm 10 years old, so I will take the 10. And I was on a 5, and then there was always a call, attention, attention, now the 10 meter is open. It was not always open because it was well watched by the lifeguards. And so the 5 was blocked. Also the other there was also 3 meter or 1 meter, and so all was blocked. Only the 10 was open, and there was a queue, and all the boys were standing in a line, and I was the smallest boy standing in the line, and the big boys, what is such a small boy, and well, I was so convinced I will do it, and so I was here on the 5, and then we had to wait, and only one goes up, and then the next, and there was a lifeguard. Now next, and then the lifeguard saw me. Are you sure you want to jump? Are you really sure? So I was so small. I was smaller than all the other boys. Well, then I said, yes, I will. Then, okay, you go up, but take your time and you jump when you are ready, okay? So I went up, and well, it was so high for me, I was so small. I was, I don't know, I, I, I can't, I don't have a picture of this, how big I was, but I was smaller than all other boys. I was only 10. Here I am 12, so 2 years before that I did it, and well, and then I was up there, and I had such a fear. It was so high, and all these people down, they looked so small, and I was thinking, oh my God. So I was holding myself on the ceiling, and then so there came 3 other boys up. So because I was waiting, and then there came another boy, and I said, well, now I go. Okay, I go. So he was waiting, and I was looking down. I was thinking, oh my God, I was really shivering. Well, and then yeah, it sounds crazy. It was like a voice. So then all this fear went away, and then I jumped. I looked up, and then going down. And in the last moment, I had a little bit panic. It was very fast, and then I lifted my arm, and my arm hit the water, and I had some pain, maybe 2 days long after this jump, because so you have to going like this, but I went down. It was not a big pain. It was somehow hard. So I made it. I was proud, and when I came to my next school, so after elementary school I had another school. So I was in the 5th class, and I was I was a weak boy. I had not so much power than the other boys, and they were all stronger than me, and they were also more. They were great soccer players, and also in sport lesson they were always faster, stronger than me. And and then I was 11. One summer later, my new teacher, we went here to this bus, and I say to this stronger boys, well, do you believe me when I tell you I jumped from the 10 meter? No, we don't believe. You are too weak, you are too small. And well, I will show you. So I went to the 10 meter, so there was this call again, 10 meter open, and right after this call I went to this strong boy and asked him, well, do you believe me? No. Okay, I go. So I jumped, so I went back to these boys, and they looked at me, hmm. And I said, well, I told you, you know, so nobody did it. I was the only one when I was 11, so they made it later when they were maybe 13 or I don't know, I can't remember, but that was amazing for them, but they didn't, well, they were not expecting that such a small and weak boy could do this. Well, I had always a lot of courage. I don't know. I was somehow always in a fighting mode. I remember I could swim already, and my mother and we went to a lake, and there was a big lake, and I said to my mother, I will cross the lake, and really, it's a big lake. Think about it. And no matter what, I go in, and I made it, but the lake was somehow difficult. There were waves, and then there came a wave, and you have to stop breathing when the wave hit you in your face, and it took a long time, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. So on a lake, it is another situation than on a pool. It is more rough, and so I made it. And and she was waiting on the other side. She walked around this lake. She had already this tow for me, and it was also cold, and I was freezing, and she put this towel over me, and well, good job, well done. So, and she let me go. I think she knew that I will make it. Well, I had no fear. Today, well, sometimes I have fear, but when I was a boy, there was no fear. On the 10 meter, I had a little bit fear, but that was only for 5 minutes, and then I came over this fear. Yeah, I think it was a good training to come over this fear, this swimming and jumping and swimming a longer distance. So I was always looking for adventure. So somehow I wanted to fight when I was a boy, and I was somehow I had more courage than all these other stronger boys. That was kind of funny. So I don't know why it was a passion, looking for also for dangerous things, Well, this is another story maybe. So on Sylvester, so always on Sylvester we had this China crackers and this dangerous crackers that were fascinating me. Or so I put out all this black powder. Want to create my own bomb. So it's all this, yeah, little boys. They make silly things, or sometimes also dangerous things, but I never was hurted. Well, that's for today, and see you next video. But maybe I can tell something about my father. In the days of my father, he was born 33, the same year Adolf Hitler took over power here in Germany, and when he was a young boy, he went to the same place, but not for fun, learning swimming. So this was the only place they could take a bath. So that was a time there were no showers in the apartments or bath tube. So they had a cleaning day, one day in the week. I think it was Friday, after the week was over, and so they went there, and then taking a shower, and so you first have to clean your body, then you can also swim in the pool. But the main reason was to clean yourself, and in the time of Wilhelm II, it was called Kaiserlich Wilhelminische Badeanstalt. That means the bath institution of Caesar Wilhelm II. so they were, so they were very, they adore the Caesar, and everything was named by him. Wilhelminisch means of Caesar Wilhelm, and also this Bath institution. So that was built in 1905. So well, it was so there were also pictures of this man. You go into this entrance, and then there you see him standing, standing with his sword. So he had also a sword here. So when he made a parrot, so he had always this sword here. And that was a great time. So all the sitting were growing, exploding, and that was a time when Germany was becoming a big power, and it was a great time, and so they adored their Caesar. Wilhelm II. So this building was from this time, but it was the main purpose of this was that they clean themselves, because all in these apartments, no, they had only a tin bowl, so they put on this hot water, and then they were cleaning with a, I don't know, standing in the kitchen, having a tin bowl, and then cleaning like this. And one time in a week they went into this bath institutions. So they were everywhere in Hamburg. So that was you can say it was a system. It was called Hamburger Wasserwerke. So the water system of Hamburg. So, and it was all tax paid. It was public. Okay, that's for today. See you next video.